In this video, we are going to study the last 15th chapter, NCERT class 9th, Improvement in Food Resources. Let's quickly revise it. So, how we can make improvement in food resources? We're going to discuss is how we add some nutrients in our food. For sustainable livelihood, one should undertake mixed farming, intercropping and integrated farming practices. For example, the combined agriculture with livestock, poultry and fisheries and beekeeping. And in this video we are going to learn what is a mixed farming. Mixed farming basically when the agriculture is done along with the animal husbandry. Agriculture is done along with the animal husbandry. This is the mixed farming. Mixed farming. Intercropping is where, like, when we in a field, in a particular field, when we yield two compatible plants, this is called intercropping, and so that proper nutrients of the soil can be consumed, all the nutrients. And integrated farmings and other like practices through which we can improve our food resources. Improvement in the crop yield. How we can it? Wheat, rice, maize, millets and sorghum provides us the carbohydrate and for the energy requirement, and mostly like pulses like gram, chana, pea, matar, black gram, green gram, arhar and masoor, lentil are the source of the protein. And the soybean, groundnuts, sesame, mustard, linseed and sunflower are the important sources of the fat. They provides fat, and pulses like these mostly provides protein, and like rice, wheat and grains, millets, they provides carbohydrate to us. And vegetables, spices and fruits provide a range of vitamins and minerals in addition to the small amount of protein and carbohydrate and fat. It also provided minerals and vitamins. So there are different types of uh, crops which provided which has see this group also provided the carbohydrate. Along with the carbohydrate also provided fat and proteins and other things, but it majorly provided carbohydrate. It is known for the carbohydrate. Photo period is related to the duration of the sunlight, how much sunlight is falling on the plants for their photosynthesis is called photo period. And there are some crops which are grown in the rainy seasons are called kharif crops. So crops are divided into two categories. One is grown on the monsoon season, which are called kharif crops, which like from which are sown in the June and harvested around October. And some crops which are grown in the winter season are called rabi crops. They are grown in around November and harvested around April. The paddy, soybean, pigeon pea, maize, cotton, green grass and black gram are the kharif crops. So they are grown in a in the monsoon period. And whereas the wheat, gram, pea, mustard and linseed are the rabi crop, they are grown in a winter season. And crop variety improvements. What is hybridization? Hybridization refers to crossing between the genetically dissimilar plants, and why they are do to improve the like crop quality and its yield. Another way of improving the crop is by the introducing a gene that would provide a desirable characteristics. So there are some genes which are either drought resistance, which don't die in drought, and some takes less water. So these changes can be done by the introducing new gene in it, so that they can survive in a harsh climate. So what mostly the hybridization does, we have a aim. What are we want higher yielding, and we want to improve the quality. We want biotic and abiotic resistance. The crop production can go down due to the biotic disease, insect, and other things. A nematode is a worm which eats the plant leaf. And abiotic resistance like drought resistant, salinity, and waterlogging, heat and cold, and changes in maturity period, the shorten the duration of the crop, the the shorten duration of the crop from the sowing to harvesting. Shorter the duration, it matures the early, and wider adaptability under the different environmental condition. So in view of these changes, we do develops techniques by which we can improve uh, the plant, and it is done by the artificial hybridization, where we combine the different species of crop to get a desirable saplings. And it can also be done by the introducing a new gene. Although the hybridization is a very much simpler and cost effective. Here is a chart which discusses the nutrition supplied by air, water, and soil. Air comes from the carbon dioxide and oxygen, carbon and oxygen, and water is from hydrogen and like water from hydrogen and oxygen, and soil like micronutrients micronutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and sulfur. These are called macronutrients because they forms the major part of the plant, and it is required by the plant. And micronutrients nutrients are those nutrients which is needed by the plant in a smaller quantities. These are iron, manganese, boron, zinc, and copper, chlorine, molybdenum. Like deficiency of these nutrients affects the physiological process of the plant, including their reproduction, growth, and susceptibility to the diseases. Supplying these nutrients in the form of the manures and fertilizers will ultimately increase and enrich the soil quantity. What is a manure? Manure contains the large quantities of organic matter. Manure is prepared by the decomposition of the animal excreta and the plant waste. It helps enriching the soil and it increases the water holding capacity. Two things happens by manure. Manure is basically the organic matter which is prepared by the decomposition of the animal etc. It helps enriching the soil, and also it increases the holding capacity. And manure can be classified into two categories. One is compost or vermicompost, and second is green manure. What is a compost and vermicompost? Waste material like livestock excreta, cow dung and buffalo dung, vegetable waste, animal refuse, and domestic waste and sewage waste is decomposed in the pit. In a pit is known for composting. The compost is rich in organic matter and nutrients. The compost is also prepared by using the earthworms to hasten the process of decomposition in the plants and animal refuse. This is called vermicompost. When the organic waste organic materials are like collected in one side and composed, so this form the compost. This is a type of manure, and when the formation of compost was introduced by the earthworms, and earthworms are the worms, so this is known as a vermicompost. Means wormy means worms, and earthworm is a we use mostly the earthworms in it. And vermicompost is comparatively more contains more nutrition for the plants compared to the compost, simple compost. Now, what is a green manure? Prior to sowing a crops, a crop seeds, some plants like sun hemp or gore are grown and then mulched by plowing them into the soil. These plants then turns into the green manure, which helps the enriching the soil in nitrogen and phosphorus. So these are unnecessary weeds is grown. Unnecessary weeds are the unnecessary and undesired plants in a field. So before what they do, before planting any crop, the weeds which is unnecessary growth, plant growth, plants in a field are like mulched, like they cut down, and so that they can also turns into a green manure, and they also help in enriching the soils in nitrogen and phosphorus. And fertilizers is an artificial technique for increasing the nutrients of the soil. Manure is a natural thing. And plant nutrient fertilizer, this is a plant nutrient fertilizer, supply nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. And also continuous use of fertilizers in an area can destroy the soil fertility because the organic matter in the soil is not replenished, and the microorganism in the soil are harmed by the fertilizer, by the use of fertilizer. So two things happen by the fertilizers. One is destroy over the long time, is destroy the soil fertility, and the organic and it not replenished by the, and because the organic matter is not renewed by this, uh, and the second thing is microorganisms in the soil are harmed by the fertilizers, use of fertilizers. So we should try to move from the use of fertilizers to the use of manure. What is organic farming? It is a farming system with a minimal or no use of a chemical as a fertilizer, herbicides and pesticides. They use only the organic things uh, like animal waste, manure, like just we mentioned, like green manure or compost. These things are used by when used to improve the soil quantity and without and no use of the fertilizers and chemicals. And this practice of farming is called organic farming. Drought occur because of scarcity or irregular distribution of rains, and light soil have less water retention capacity. In areas with a light soil, crop get adversely affected. Cropping patterns, like there are some crops when mixed together and they forms a good combinations, and they use the maximum nutrients from the soil, like wheat and gram, then wheat and plus mustard with together, and groundnut and sunflower. This reduces risk of giving some insurance against the failure of one crop. Intercropping is a growing two or more crop. Intercropping is a growing of two and more crops simultaneously in a same field in a definite periods. So so that maximum nutrients uh, from the soil can be utilized. Crops are selected such that their nutrient requirements are different, and they are selected and their nutrient requirements should be different. So, like nobody's nutrients should be compromised. Crop protection and management. Weeds are unwanted plants in the cultivated field. For example, these are the anthium, parthenium. These are the weeds. Weeds take up the nutrients and reduce the growth of the crop. So we have to make sure the we should not let the weed to grow, because it will unnecessarily take the nutrients of the soil. And diseases in plant are caused by the pathogens such as bacteria, fungi, and viruses. And most commonly used one of the most commonly used method is the use of pesticide, which include herbicide, insecticide, and fungicides. Herbicides kills herbs, it kills weeds, unnecessary growth. Insecticide kills insects, and fungicide kills fungus. By use of this, we can make the plant disease free. And however, excessive use of these chemicals create a problem, since they can be poisonous to many plants and animal species, and it also causes the environmental pollution. Some other preventive measures against the pest are the use of resistant variety and summer plowing, in which the fields are plowed during the summers to destroy the weed and pest. So there is a chart here. It shows the nutritional value in animal products. It is showing in a percentage. The milk, which is mostly consumed for the protein, contains only 4% per hundred gram. However, it is rich in vitamin B1 to 12 and DE. And water has almost like 87% water. Egg contains 13% protein. Meat and fishes almost 20%. Animal husbandry. What is animal husbandry? Animal husbandry is a scientific management of the animal livestock. It includes various aspects such as feeding. Feeding means giving them food. Breeding means reproducing them, and disease control and making them a disease free. Cattle farming. Cattle farming, it is most common in India. There are two types of cattle, which is Bos indicus cows and Bos uh, bubalis buffaloes. And milk producing mammals and milk producing females are called milch animals, because they produces milk. They are also called dairy animals. while the one used for the labor, farm labor, are called draught animals. So they have divided the cattle into two. One which produces milk are called milch animal, and another is a draught animal which used as a farm labor, like which are males only. You know, the male cow. Uh, Exotic are the foreign breeds. For example, Jersey is a foreign breed and Brown Swiss is a foreign breeds. Are selected for a long lactation. So they have characteristics properties of lactating for a longer period. They gives milk for the comparatively longer period compared to the our desi cows. And while local breeds like Sindhi and Sahiwal show the excellent resistance in the disease because they have been evolved in the Indian climate. So obviously they evolved a disease resistant body, and these two can be crossed to get an animal with both desirable quantities. Like both milk lactation periods should be longer, uh, and they are also a disease resistant. So both are crossed to produce a desirable cows. And what animal do eat? Animal feeds includes roughage, which is largely fiber, and concentrate, which are low in fiber and contains relatively high levels of protein and other nutrients. The parasite of the cattle may be both external parasite or the internal parasite. The external parasite live on the skin and mainly causes a skin disease. The internal parasite like worms affect the stomach and intestine, while flukes damages the liver. Infectious diseases are caused by the bacteria and viruses. Vaccination are given to the farm animals against the many major viral and bacterial diseases. Poultry farming means, what are poultry farming? Like hen farming. To rising of domestic fowls for the either egg production, or second thing for chicken production for the meat. So there are two types of hens, chickens are there. One are called layers because they lays eggs. They are uh, like they are formed for the egg. So they lays egg, they are called layers. And second thing is boiler, and they are used for the meat. Crossbreeding programs between the Indian indigenous, for example, a seal, and foreign exotic and uh, leghorn breed for variety improvement are focused on to develop the new varieties in the following desirable traits. So both indigenous and foreign breeds of hens are mixed to form a desire to achieve a desirable traits in their offsprings. What are these desirable traits? Number and quality of chickens. They should produce more chickens, and they also should be the good, like quality wise, disease free and all that. Draft boiler parent for the commercial production. Summer adaptation capacity should be there. They should not die due to excessive heating in the summers, and they should tolerate the high temperature. Low maintenance should be required to them. And again, boiler production. Boiler chickens are fed with vitamin rich. Boilers are made are for the uh, consumption, meat consumption. They are fed with the vitamin rich supplementary feeds, and for the good growth and better feed efficiency. They are produced as a boilers and sent. They are produced as a boilers and sent to the market for the meat purpose. The ration is a daily food requirement for the boiler is a protein rich and adequate fat. The level of vitamin A and vitamin K is kept high in the poultry feeds. Now lasting fish production. There is nothing much to study about the fish production. We just only are going to read highlighted part. The popular marine fish varieties includes these from pomfret tuna and other like Bombay duck. These are the marine fishes which are in the like sea water, and another type of fish category are inland fishes which are in the rivers and ponds. And in this yields are not high, only limited number of fishes can be there. The fish culture is sometimes done in the combination with rice crop, so that the fish are grown in the water in the paddy fields. One problem with such composite fish culture is that many of these fish breed only during the monsoons. So most of the fishes only breeds during the monsoons. The last thing is beekeeping. Local variety of bee is used for the commercial honey production called Apis cerana indica and commonly known as Indian bee. And Apis dorsata, a rock bee, and Apis flori, the little bee, and the Italian bee variety Apis mellifera has been bought in to increase the yield of the honey. So there are both domestic and foreign breeds of bees in India, and Italian breed like is famous for its high for high honey production. Italian breeds has a high honey collection capacity. They sting somewhat less, and they stay in a given beehive for a long period, and the breeding and the breed very well. And bee farmers are also known as apiarians. So this is Italian breed which is very good bee species. It gives high honey, more honey, and also like it stings somewhat less. So we just quickly revise the chapter. Manures and fertilizers. Manure is a natural way and fertilizers chemicals are the main source of nutrients in the crop. And there are some disadvantages of the manures. It reduces soil fertility and all that, and also kills the microorganisms in the soil. Manure is a natural way. It is made from the like animal waste and other organic waste. Two types of manure is one is compost, which is when worms are used in it, it is called vermicompost. And other manure is a like green manure, in which the weeds of the plants kill off at the time of sowing, so that their like nutrition are reabsorbed by the soils, can be reabsorbed by the soils. Organic farming. What is organic farming? Is a farming system with a minimal and no use of chemical fertilizer, herbicides, pesticide, etc., with a maximum input of organic manures, recycled farm waste, and bioagents, with a healthy cropping system. What is a mixed farming? Mixed farming is crop production along with the rising of the living stock. They do both. They also farms and also they raise livestock for the dairy products. Mixed cropping is growing the two or more crops simultaneously for on the same piece of land, so that the maximum capacity of the soil can be like used. Maximum nutrients in the soil can be used. Growing two or more crops in a definite crops in a definite row pattern is called intercropping. And the growing of different crops on the piece of land is pre-planned. In a pre-planned session is called crop rotation. So varietal improvement is required for high yield, good quality, biotic and abiotic resistance, shortening of maturity duration, wider adaptability, desirable agronomics characteristics. So these are the crop improvements. And the farm animal require the proper care and management such as shelter, feeding, breeding and disease control. This is called animal husbandry. And to enhance the poultry production, the crossbreeding is done between the Indian and exotic breed for variety improvement. Fish may be obtained from the marine source as well as the inland sources. The marine fish The marine fish capture is done by the fishing nets guided by the eco sounders and satellites. And composite fish culture system is commonly used for the fish farming. And beekeeping is done to get honey and wax. Thank you for watching this video.